class, it's Mrs. Gilling back again for your Unit 1 video assignment. This time, it's all about focused notes. Before we get into those focused notes, though, I've got a surprise for you. It's called the joke of the unit. All right, question. How does a T-Rex take notes? Answer, using shorthand. Get it? Because T-Rexes have little short hands and shorthand. Okay, yeah. I actually had a roommate once, and when she woke up in the morning, she always went, and so the joke was that she was a T-Rex. So there you go. All right, enough about T-Rexes. Let's talk about focus notes for a second. So if you've been at I Succeed for a while, you probably know what focus notes are. And if not, I'll let you know a little bit about them. These are super important because they help you really focus on the most important things in the unit and in the lessons, and they help you study. They help you learn how to take notes because sometimes you're given a whole bunch of material and you're just not quite sure how to break it down. These notes really help you break down material and understand it. Students that do well on the focus notes tend to do better on the exams, and so they're super important. So let me kind of explain to you how to fill these out. So up here at the top, you will have a box for the topic or objective. That's pretty simple. You're just putting down what the unit is about. So if it's Unit 1, all about social psychology, all you have to do is put Unit 1, social psychology. And the cool thing is, if you're ever not quite sure what to put in a box, if you can't remember what it means by topic or objective or what it means by essential question, click on the little help buttons right here, and it'll tell you what you should be looking for. So that's a really good tip. Just go back to these help buttons. All of your focus notes assignments have these buttons on them so they can kind of prompt you and remind you what to be looking for to put there. The next thing you need to put down is the essential question. Now, sometimes students get confused about this and they're not quite sure what to put. And again, click on that help button if you can't remember. But for the essential question, you're pretty much explaining what you need to be learning in the unit. So a little tip here, if you go to the very beginning of each lesson, it'll give you an introduction. And in that introduction, it'll give you some objectives that you want to learn. Those can be turned into your essential questions. So for instance, if you're learning about psychology and if you're learning about personality, and why people are the way that they are, your essential question may be, what is personality and how do we gain a personality? That's the essential question. You're pretty much figuring out what it is you're trying to learn in the unit. So that's what the essential question is. You can put in one essential question, you can put in multiple. That's up to you, but make sure that you're putting at least one essential question about what you're trying to answer about what the unit is about. Next, you'll see here on the left is the cues section. And I've actually filled those in for you. You don't have to do anything in that part in this class. But what I do want you to do is use these cues. So sometimes they're vocab words, sometimes they're short questions. But you're going to look at the cue over here. And as you're in each lesson, they're labeled based off lesson. You're going to give the answer to that cue in the notes section. So for instance, for survey, you would go, as you're studying, you'd come across the vocab word survey and you write down the definition right here. For case study, you write down the definition right there, and you just keep going through, and as you work through the unit, you'll take notes. Now, one trick here, a lot of students will wait until after the unit's over to try to do these. It is so much easier if you just have a copy pulled up of your notes, and while you're going through your workbooks, just putting the answers in. That's really the way we should be doing these notes. That helps you process them better, because waiting to the last minute, you're redoing what you've already done. So that's my biggest tip, is just have them open while you're going through the notes. So the next slide here shows you the second half. So after you've completed all of your notes, you're going to write a short summary, 2 to 3 sentences, just explaining what you learned in the unit. What did you get out of it? If you were to summarize the unit to a friend, what would you tell them you learned? Then in the next box, you're going to explain how something connected to your world in that unit. Something you read about, how does it relate to your life? Why is that important in your life? Why would you need to know that information? So just write a quick connection. So here's the specific steps of how to complete these focus notes. So like I said, you're going to fill out the topic or objective and the essential question based on what you're about to learn. Then you're going to work through the cues section and take notes on the vocab words. So Fill out the topic and objective, the essential question, then fill out your vocab words for each lesson. So do it lesson by lesson. At the end of each lesson, I want you to set a timer for 2 minutes and process your notes by highlighting and underlining the important parts. So I want to see you, highlighting important vocab words. If there's something you don't understand, highlight it so you can go back. Underline key concepts, but really take some time to go through your notes and process them so that you're interacting with them. You're going to get more out of them. And then at the end of each lesson, I want you to set your timer again for 2 more minutes and find maybe a screenshot, a chart, maybe that's in the reading, a picture, something that will help you understand your notes better. Put that picture in your notes. After you've done that, you're going to repeat for the next lesson. So then you'll move on to the next lesson, finish the notes for that section, and then go back and do your analysis. You're gonna process those notes. You're gonna highlight and put the pictures in. When you are all done with the whole unit, that's when you'll go and you'll write your summary, your short 2 to 3 sentences, and then you'll write your connection again, 2 to 3 sentences on how it relates to you and your world. And then you'll study it. You'll take those notes and you'll study them for your exams. For your focus notes in units 1 through 3, will be used for your first test. So that's all the information you need to know for your first test. These focus notes are really important because they serve as study guides for your test. They're going to help you prepare. If you do well in these focus notes and you really study them and you understand the material in them, you will do awesome on the exams. And so they really are important for you to study to prepare for the test. So how will these be submitted? So you have 2 options here. You can either complete these on Google Docs and upload them at the end of the unit. There will be a link at the beginning of each unit. It'll allow you to make a copy of the focus notes for that unit. You'll fill them out and then you can submit them at the end of the unit. If you're someone that likes to take the notes by hand, that's totally awesome. You can complete those notes by hand. Make sure you still do all of the sections. Make sure that you're taking the notes, that you're writing the connection to your world, the essential question, all that. I know a lot of students that like to write by hand, totally cool. Just make sure that when you're done with your notes at the end of the unit, you take a picture of them and upload them, and I'll grade them the same way I would grade the ones that were submitted by Google Docs. You'll get just as many points for doing them by hand. That's totally acceptable as well. So 2 options, Google Docs or writing them by hand and uploading a picture. So how will these be graded? That's a great question. The biggest part of this is the notes section, right? That's showing me that you took the time to go through the material and write your notes down. So you get 70 points for filling out the notes section. Then you get 10 points for completing that short summary, 10 points for explaining how the information from the unit connects to your world, 5 points for processing the notes. That's the highlighting and underlining. And then you get 5 points for filling out the essential question there at the beginning. So that adds up to 100 points. So one really quick cool thing, I do offer a bonus in my courses. So if you complete the focus notes assignments for unit 1 through 3 and you score at least 80% on them, then I will give you 10 bonus points on that first exam. And if you finish the focus notes for units 4 through 6 and score at least 80% on them, then I will give you 10 bonus points on your second exam. So it's really important to fill these out because they're going to help you understand the material. And if you maybe struggle in a test, I will reward you for working so hard on your focus notes by giving you those bonus points. And that can really help out a lot and raise your grade sometimes up to that next level come final grade time. So those are focus notes and how to complete them. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. But other than that, good luck, guys.